Caleb, we got ripped a little bit on the YouTube message boards, which is absolutely fine. I'm good with that. Somebody's going to report us to YouTube, they said. So, okay, I'm sure that YouTube has better
Report us
things.
to YouTube for what?
I don't know. Talking about their Vols. But I'm sure they have better things to do. YouTube does the monitoring where the college football playoff committee puts Tennessee. But Caleb, with this TCU team, you referenced the fact that they're not that great. I mean, I don't think they are either, but I also think there's something to be said for a good story. So I think if you're ever going to boost TCU, which goes back to my point, they'll put them above Tennessee. I think this is the week to do it. Go ahead and milk that story for what you can, and I don't think that's going to last very long. The other thing that I want to get your take on, because this is why we got torn up on YouTube, and that's fine. I don't see a monstrous difference between the way Oregon lost to Georgia and the way Tennessee lost to Georgia. Now, the difference is road game. The difference is, an SEC rival. You didn't have time to prepare, as Amanda has pointed out, like Georgia did for Oregon in the opener. However, when it came to a dismantling, that is not a game early in the third quarter. I didn't think either were a game early in the third quarter. You?
No, I don't. I agree. I don't see too much of a difference. The only thing I would say is Tennessee got down into Georgia territory twice in the second half and came up empty-handed. One because of just a litany of false starts and sacks, and then the other one just turnover on downs. But I bring that up to say, like, again, the score was 27-13, and Kirby was playing to run out the clock. But if Tennessee scores on just one of those possessions, I mean, we're talking about it. All of a sudden, we are talking about an interesting game at that point. If I were to, and if I were to compare it, I would say the 96 Florida beats Tennessee 35-29. They jump out to a 35-0 lead, and Spurrier was tired of people saying he runs up the score too much, so he just runs the ball in the second half. And Peyton Manning's like, "Oh, we almost came back and won," and it's like, no, you really didn't. But it looked like you did.
Sam brought up a good point. Dave, Georgia scored at will against Oregon. They did. They did. That's fair, Sam.
Defense.
But Georgia's offense looked, I don't know, Georgia's offense looked pretty good to me. They looked old school Alabama to me. They could run the football. They could create plays when they had to at the quarterback position, maybe not throwing it all over the park like Tennessee does, but I thought they looked pretty good. Not great, but good.
I thought Tennessee's defense looked pretty good, comparatively speaking. If you want to go, what's the biggest difference between this, Oregon's defeat versus Tennessee's defeat at the hands of Georgia? I would say Tennessee's defense was the difference. I think that, again, they had to bring out all their weapons to beat Tennessee's defense, and that's not what we thought was going to happen at the beginning of the season. Tennessee's defense was supposed to be the weak side. It was supposed to be, something that would cause losses rather than, save games. And I think Tennessee's defense saved, the game at Pitt. I think they did pretty well against Alabama. And I think, and even though the score is really high, I'm not saying that, but they did what they needed to do. And I think their defense against Georgia was much better than Oregon's.
What about the fact that it was an air quotes neutral site game for Oregon?
It's not a neutral site game.
No.
It's in Atlanta.
Right. Air quotes.
Yeah.
Was it as loud as Sanford Stadium? I doubt that very seriously.
No, it wasn't as loud. And I think that definitely, I think there's a lot of factors that went into it. And it was, the crowd noise after people, and I said that I didn't think Sanford Stadium was that loud. That's the one I said. I've been there one time and people held up signs, and they're pretty bad signs, but I said I didn't think it was that loud. I've never played there. That's from like other players who have played there saying it's not that loud. It's, tweeting it out. This is not going to be that big of a deal. Putting that target on the team's back for the fans just to come out and just give it everything they had as far as yelling and making noise and all of that stuff goes. I think that was a big factor. I think the college football playoff committee putting Tennessee at 1 and Georgia at 3 was a big factor, motivation-wise. I think that this Georgia team was really, really motivated by everything on outside of that football program. And I also think that against Oregon, they weren't super motivated. They came out to play, but they had so much time to prepare for Oregon. And they've seen Bo Nix for years because he was at Auburn. So they knew how Bo Nix played. They knew his weaknesses. They knew, things like that. They knew all of that because they've seen it. They've played against Bo Nix before. So I know it's a different offense, but it's still the same quarterback. You still know it's like going against Justin Verlander at the Astros compared to Justin Verlander at, when he was with the Tigers. You still know the pitcher, even if he's in a completely different system. You still know what it looks like. You still know his quirks and all that stuff. So I just feel like there were some big differences. And I think that I don't know. That's how I feel. There we are.
Well, this is something that could, sorry.
No, you're good, Caleb. Go.
I was going to say this. I will say, even though I think Tennessee will be ahead of Oregon, that's something that could change because Tennessee doesn't have a ranked team left on its schedule. Oregon I do think they value schedule strength. Oregon has Washington this weekend, who's number 24 now. And then they're going to have the Pac-12 championship game, which is 2 games for quality wins. But for right now, you can't just compare how Tennessee played Georgia versus how Oregon played Georgia. You have to look at their resumes, and Oregon's only good win to this point is UCLA. And Alabama and LSU are both probably better wins than that, and if we're being honest. And then there's Kentucky, which is not a bad win. They're number 24 in the coaches poll right now, or number 23 or something like that. So, and that doesn't even take into account the fact that by the end of the year, Florida and Kentucky could both be in the top 25 by the time the year ends.
We got a special guest coming up next, former Vol. But guys, I want to leave it at this. If you had to bet a mortgage payment that Tennessee makes the college football playoff or doesn't, based off what we know about TCU, Oregon's schedule is loaded in the back end, and Tennessee is not. Is anybody not taking Tennessee to make the college football playoff?
Nope, I'm taking them to make the college football playoff.
Yeah, you had to bet a mortgage. You would too, Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would too. I mean,
I bet the TCU and Oregon are both going to lose before the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think that at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about how Tennessee got the respect they deserve, but I don't think that's going to be tonight. I do think that they're going to shake things up a little bit and have some fun with it, and I understand it. I don't blame them. This is Survivor. The show Survivor. That is exactly what it is. I mean, they're going to shake it up. 2 minutes, very special. Former Vol joins us, one of my all-time favorites, and we'll get his thoughts on where Tennessee will be in the college football playoff tonight. This is Off the Hook Sports.
Inflation has risen to the highest level in over 40 years, according to the April 2022 U.S. Inflation Calculator. Will your investments provide you the income you need in retirement? Are you losing purchasing power of your savings due to inflation? Simply stated, if the cost of goods and services are 8% higher and you're only earning 4% in your investments, that money buys you less of what you need. Right now is the time to act. Call Guardian Investment Advisors today.
Hey folks, Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant. It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air. Dare to compare.
This is Al's Nest Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus the complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food, and we'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, where Chattanooga goes to grill.
Got cataracts? We can fix that. Never miss another moment. With a little help from Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn at CCT Eyes,